All right, guys, good morning to everybody. Today is the 8th of January 2026. Today is the Crazy Global Market Talk with KEL. Crazy anytime, anywhere. Now, guys, it's been 1 week. I last seen you guys online. I've been very busy. I'm now back in Vietnam and I'm traveling around because many people love Crazy and they really enjoy using Crazy. Now, today, segment will be a little bit longer than usual because I got lots of things to share with you, especially this coming Friday. There's a very big news coming on Friday, so everybody please stay tuned. All right, so let's start the day by making sure that you understand disclaimer apply as usual. Do your risk management. It's very important. All right, morning to you, Xin Chao. All right, so let's continue the sharing. First of all, let's go through the fundamental. Yeah, very important fundamental. Oops, hold on a minute. Just mute everybody. Okay, hold on. Okay. All right, first of all, Dow Jones last night dropped by 450 points. I given you the warning. And the S&P 500 pulled back from the top two. Now, for those who not too sure, if you go to Facebook, you go to crazy.com. All right, I have a Facebook account that is for us to use. Okay, you just go to Facebook. Okay, and under crazy.com. Okay. All right, this is our crazy.com. Okay, so what we did was that recently I did a posting and I mentioned that the S&P 500 at 69.30 sell big, no need to think. All right, it was a very big signal that I gave. That was on the 6th of January, 2 days ago. So guys, if you want to look at my recent calls in the market, just go to the facebook.com. Okay, close it first. All right, so the market, why it pulled back. So there wasn't much reason given. Basically, the bank share ended lower, including JP Morgan and Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Now, why these shares go down? There's a reason for that. Because now there is an ongoing rumor, yeah, not confirmed yet, that this coming Friday, the court will have to decide whether Donald Trump's tariff is legal or illegal. Now, of course, we all know that Donald Trump went through to do the tariff without really seeking the Congress. And the thing is this right now, this is something that we need to be very careful. Now, if the US government court decided that it's illegal, then there will be some profit taking. But of course, knowing Donald Trump very well, he also probably has an idea of how to go around it. So the market may have a knee-jerk effect before it really recover. Okay, so that means that there be some selling first, maybe. If let's say proven illegal, then Donald Trump come in and say something different, and the market recovers back again. So it's actually very possible. When is that? This coming Friday. So very important, yeah. So one thing is that now Donald Trump says that the interim authorities in Venezuela will be turning over as much as 50 million barrels of oil to US. So that is why the oil price now is not going up. So many people ask me the question, KEL, how come there is a fight in Venezuela? How come the oil price didn't go up? Because the thing is this, the oil was actually in Venezuela, right? Then after that, it's now US go in. So when US go in and technically take the oil away, that means that there'll be another big pool of crude oil available. So that is why the crude oil price come off. Okay, so that is what actually really happened. Okay, and of course, the thing is this right now. Is it fair for US to go in Venezuela to take away their land? I mean, their oil, all this thing. Well, everybody got their own reason, yeah. So I'm not going to comment too much on this. All right, so the president said he will not permit defense company to issue dividend or stock buyback until the firm address a complaint on his industry. So that's why some of the defense stocks actually came off recently after the war happened in Venezuela. Okay, and very interesting now Donald Trump banned large institutional investors from buying more than single home family home. All right, so that is interesting because
Stop asking how was your weekend.
okay.
Time to level up your small talk skills.
Okay.
Weekend.
Hey, Joanna,
How's everything going? These sound harmless.
something happened on my Facebook. Not too sure what happened. Okay, apology for that. So that's why now some of the companies like the oil side itself, right, recover a little bit recently. Yeah. Okay. Now, one thing to note, the ADP numbers came out 41,000 in December, slightly below expectation. That means that the jobs are not coming in. Now, this coming Friday, at the same time, there will be the non-farm payroll. So please take note of that. Now, Donald Trump, as I said again, has really said Venezuela to give up to 15 million barrels of oil to US. So that's why the oil price actually trade lower. And Donald Trump says that he reserved the rights to use the military force to secure oil interests in Venezuela. So, of course, it's all about oil, yeah? So, his point of view is that basically he feels that the US majors have already invested billions into building Venezuela. But after that itself, right, Venezuela did not come back to them. So, that's why he feels that the US companies are being robbed off. So, it's time to go in to take back the thing that is fair. So, okay, interesting. Now, one thing we all know that now the market is getting a bit worried because they want to know whether or not that Donald Trump will continue to go for other countries, like example Greenland. Right now, we know Greenland is a very vast and sparsely populated self-governing Danish territory. So, but because Greenland, the way it is right now, on the map, is actually a very, very important annex towards the U.S. military force. So that's why the Donald Trump wants it. Okay, you can read it on your own later on. All right, now very interestingly, Venezuela will ship sanctioned oil to U.S. indefinitely. So not too sure where it's from. But interestingly, it's that these ships are all registered under Russian flag. Interesting. Now, Donald Trump says that Venezuela will repurchase the American product with the revenue from oil deal. So it's like, huh? Okay. So it's like you go to someone's place, take their money away, and then force them to buy your goods at the same time. Okay, this is very interesting. But that's Donald Trump, yeah. Only he can do that. Yeah, pretty cool. All right. Someone asked a question. What will we do when a sideways market touch stop loss anytime? That is very normal in trading. There will be days it trends up, there will be days it trends down, but there will be days the market will go sideways. And when it goes sideways, you just have to live with it. There's no system in the world that can predict what to do on sideways market because it's either you go up and go down, and that means that there'll be a big, big movement coming in. I repeat, there will be a big movement coming in for the gold market. I'll come that later on, yeah? Okay, so for calendar wise, okay, Thursday, today, there will be the jobless claims. And then tomorrow, we have the non-farm payroll. Very important. The forecast is all below 100,000. Now, this is a very bad number. And they do expect the unemployment rate to go back down to 4.5% because last time it was 4.6%. I mean, seriously, from 4.4 to 4.6 was a very big jump, but because the numbers are lacking, so to go back to 4.5% is okay, but it's still going to be the same thing. It's just only the numbers different, yeah. And of course, they didn't write about the court site, but please take note the court thing will come out this weekend. Okay. Now, basically, Tom Lee, right, the CNBC top contributor, he says that the S&P 500 for 2026 will end at 7,700, 10% up from where we are right now, but the path will not be smooth. In fact, he expects a 15 to 20% correctional pullback when the market tests the new Fed chief, which is coming on this May. So the long-term outlook, the earning growth, especially for the Magnificent Seven and the rate cut should drive the upside. So apparently he feels the same. I feel the same way, exactly what Tom Lee says. So let's listen to Tom Lee for a short while about what he has to say about the market. Yeah, quick one.
6,700 by the end of 2026. A 15 to 20% correction at some point in the second half. Yeah, like compressed in 1 year will be joy, depression, and rally, right? I think just like last year, 2025, we had a terrible start. People got very gloomy. Then we had a nice rally to finish the year. April. Yeah, April was the low. Yeah. So I think because, the market will test the new Fed, that probably is the reason we have some fear this year. But there's a lot of things to be optimistic about.
All right, so you can hear that it's exactly what he said over here. So if you look back in last year, this April, let's bring in the chart. Okay, so last year we have the 2025. All right, the market basically had a very strong January period. Then about 30th January last year, that was where it peaked. And then after that, from the February onwards, the market just tanked all the way down until April. Yeah, so exactly what happened, what Tom Lee had just said. So it was at 45,100 for the Dow Jones. The lowest it went to about 36,000. So the market dropped literally more than 10%. All right. So I cannot remember what actually happened, but I know that the market did drop by 10%. And of course, if you look into the chart wise, if you look carefully, we have a bit of similarities here. We have the market basically bottoming out all the way strongly under here. And then after that, the market just at the 44,000, drop all the way down to 36,000. So where are we right now? We are almost in an identical node in a way, whereby the market proxy point will be about 48,000. So that is where the market will look for that. And then after that, if the market continue to fall, they could go to 45,000. So I think that most likely the market may be doing that in the near term, which means that the market should be coming down towards here. So I believe that the Dow Jones will see some support only at 45,000 area. Now, from the current price now of 49,000 to 45,000 is 3,000 points. That's approximately about 8 to 9%. So it's not a lot, yeah. So I think about 8% pullback, I think it'll be good enough for everybody. And then after that, the market maybe find a place to bottom out again. So let's just see how it goes. So if you guys think the same way, let me know in the comment box here. Okay, I'll take a quick picture on this right now. Okay, hold on a minute. Okay. All right, so that is the US news and fundamental for you to take a look. Let's go to the technical chart for now. Let's go. Okay, hold on. Why my screen suddenly come so big? It's adjusting on itself. Okay. Okay, so let's just take a few look at this chart right now first. Okay, so first of all, today the chart tells us a few things. Number one, the market opening price is below MLP. I repeat, the market opening price is below MLP. So below MLP means that the market will take the sell side if the market stays below OP. And in this case right now, we can see very clearly the market stays below OP, trading lower. That's the first thing that we need to take note of that. Number two, all right, the market now today, the KSI, as you can see, the KSI has been going up. So despite the market going up, the KSI also going up. So that tells you that the market is selling. Now, of course, whether you believe it or not, that's up to you. But for me, as a trader with CRAZII, I will tell you that if the selling do kick in. Now, yesterday, the market did break the low and rebounded. So this is a pretty bullish move. Yeah, it's bullish. But the problem is the market closed below the MLP of the previous day. So that means that there is some selling factor in the market. Can you see that? So because of that right now, right, we have a very important point. The market already cracked the low, so that is a first sign of trouble. I believe that the market later on will test again pivot 2, all right? It will test pivot 2. Now, if the market tests pivot 2 and stay down below the previous low, which is about 44.27, if the gold stays and close below 44.27, there is a very high chance for gold to trade down all the way to the MA30, which is 43.69. I repeat, there's a very good chance the market may trade down to 43.69. Okay, so when that happens, right, okay, that will push away the market sentiment, and that is the MA30. And MA30 is a very important support level for the short term. If the market continue to break further, there is a possibility to even see 43.32. Now, of course, these are all the numbers I can think of. I think the primary number that I think will likely be happening will be here to about 43.69 level. All right. Okay. I think that is something that be very careful for traders if the market stays down. Okay. Now, of course, why the market can stay down is because of the US dollar, obviously. Yeah, we take a look at US dollar right now. Shortly, give me a moment. So let's look at the US dollar right now. One minute. Now, this is the US dollar. Now, we all know that the US dollar is still be on the way down, but we can see every time when the US dollar hits the Williams indicator at the bottom, right, it's undeniable. That is where the bottoming out signal comes in. So now we have a similar thing and it's actually trading higher. So that means that for common point, the divergence show that the market's upside. So it's actually expected that the dollar will trade higher a little bit to maybe about 99. Let me take a look. About 99.20 level. So where are we right now? 98.75. So which means that if the dollar is to go up to 99.20, up by another 50 basis point, so that 50 decimal point, so that will give you gold downside about $50 around there, around there $50. So if the dollar do go up to 99.20 or 99.15, right, go up will come down by $50. So if that is the case, let me just take a look. If the gold do come down by $50, okay, let's throw the chart away. Let's put it back in again. Right, so where we are right now, we are now at this 47 minus $50. We get 43.93, right? Okay, 90, yeah, 97. Okay, 97. Right? Wait a minute, am I getting it correctly? Sorry. 43.90. Oh gosh, I might have brain freeze right now. 3 or 97, right? Yep. Okay. So 43.97, that will give us somewhere around here, around the midpoint. All right, this is the midpoint of the oil. Okay, so let's see whether do we have that downside in the market if the dollar actually gets up. Now, the only reason why the dollar will go up is because there must be a war ongoing. Now, US dollar usually will go up because there's a war ongoing, and there's a lot of murmuring saying that because US is now possibility to go for other countries. You typically you have all this sort of news going on to scare the shit out of people, and that's why people get worried or stuff like that. Yeah, so that's something that I believe will happen over this weekend as usual. Yeah. Okay, now today the Dow Jones is going to be very important. The Dow Jones today is below the MLP of the previous day. Today, the opening price is also below the MLP of today. Hence, therefore, the bearishness is expected to kick in. And very importantly, today is a pivot day. The pivot 2 is at 49,537. The opening price is at 49,000. So which means that 49,008 to be precise. So now there is a KCL here, everybody. Take a look, KCL. The KCL is at 48,960. All right, so basically the Dow is trying to hold here. Now the Dow has been trying to hold at 48.96, 48.960 for the last 2 days. And every time the market goes there, the market rebound. So which means that this 48.960 is going to be very, very important. If the Dow Jones do break down below the KCL, there's a very good chance the Dow will see 48,443. So that is about 500 points downside again if the market do break below. Now, yesterday, if you missed the sell, today you can watch it again. Now, for those who think it will go up instead, well, the only thing is that it has to stay above KCL, and then after that, it has to go up above OP. The MLP will likely be the first target. So let's take a look. MLP is at 49,229. So that will be the first target for the upside. Okay. Oh, yeah. On Yeah, the MLP will be the target for upside 49,229. Okay. All right. So we have the upside and downside target. But because the KSI is green color, the KCX is black color, the market is still very bullish. So who knows? The market may come down first and then recover. But based on what I'm seeing right now, I always believe in pivot. If the market is below pivot, usually the selling will be there. Okay. So this one I let for you to decide where you think the market will be going. You let me know in the comment box here. Okay, so that is done with the gold and Dow Jones. Let's look at Bitcoin, shall we? Okay, so Bitcoin, please take note how it works right now. Bitcoin basically went up from the low end of 87,000, and the market, I told you before, the boys kick in and buy. And after that, there's a diamond here. So by right, you buy above diamond line, it's easy, yeah? But now we can take a look very closely. We have the same diamond there, and this becomes a support here. Now, this has become a very strong support. Okay, let me just draw it properly. Hold on a minute. Okay, hold on. Yeah, can you see that based on the closing price of the diamond? All right, the market yesterday closed perfectly near the level and rebounded. So the thing is this, what number is that? This number will be 90,557. 90,557. So this number is 90,557. So which means that if the Bitcoin can still stay above 90,557, it's still okay. But if the Bitcoin breaks below 90,557, then the selling can be big because the pivot tool is just around the corner. So which means that if the market breaks below this diamond line and also break below the pivot, then there will be some selling all the way down to 89,391. And usually, if this actually we see that when the Bitcoin pull back in such a level, normally Nasdaq will come off. If Nasdaq come down, then of course you have the US Dow Jones coming down in the near term. And because the KSI has turned red and it's increasing on the upside, though the retail are still buying, but that's normal. When the retail buy is when the price goes down, they think it's cheap, they'll buy. Then after when the price goes lower, further down, then they'll panic and they'll cut their losses, and that's where the cycle will repeat once again. So it's always like this, have never changed. So we're going to look at it and see how you can trade on it. Huh? Okay, now that is Bitcoin for you. Now there's a request for me to do oil. Just give me a moment, oil. Now this is oil for today. Now for today, oil is very interesting. The oil is down because of the Venezuela thingy. And interestingly, the boys has been buying on it. Interesting. The bigger boy are selling instead. So now today is above the pivot one. It's above OP. It's actually a classic buy signal. So let's take a look and see why crude oil will go up. The only reason why crude oil go up is because something must have happened in the Middle East, or there's some attacks on the refineries, blah, blah, blah. So economy-wise, I don't think that's a reason to propel, because you can see the US economy is not really recovering. So if you ask me today, the upside for crude oil, maybe we'll see 56.87, just another 50 cents more to go. And because it's above pivot one, it should be able to be buying up. And if possible, you can try to get in and do the MA30, which is $57.50. Okay. So it's not a lot, but then again, if you can use it wisely and trade according to the rules, you still can make some money out of this. Yeah, it's actually very possible. Okay, so that will be all for today's sharing. I hope you enjoy the session. Let me see, there's one more request. That chart is crude oil, yeah? Crude oil. Okay, there's a request for me to do one more, and that is Ethereum, sorry. Ethereum. Okay, I'll just do Ethereum for you. There's a quick one. Okay, the data is not coming in. Just hang on a while. Okay, so Ethereum is trading up at the moment. Okay, But the boys are selling, so which means that if you stay above OP, no problem. You should be able to go back to the MLP at 32.10. But the thing is the same thing again. The market yesterday broke below the previous day low, broke below the MLP. So actually it's quite bearish right now. So if the market go to KDR1, KDR2, or KDR3, be careful. That could be a turning point to sell. And of course, with the KSI rate, the market could be coming down shortly. Yeah. So traders, take note of that. That is my personal take. I will not jump too much into this counter, at least for now, because today is actually bearishness and the market is like trying to trap people from going in itself. Yeah, pretty clear. Okay, there's another last request is NASDAQ. Quick one on NASDAQ. Sure. Just give me a minute. NASDAQ. The NASDAQ yesterday was a doji, so today is a directional day. Directional day means that the market could go all the way to the sky or come back down all the way. So it's very simple today. If you look carefully for the NASDAQ, if it goes up today, the pivot one at 28,000, 25,000, sorry. 25,875 will be the first target. So where are we right now? 25,600. So upside wise about 220 points. On the downside, if the market stay down instead, then the market MA30 will be likely to trigger at 25,436. So it's about same thing, about 200 points. Now with the KSI being green here itself, the upside seems more possible. But again, remember, doji directional day, usually the first part of the day, it will be a fake before the market sell, or it may be a downside first before going up. So based on what we're seeing right now, where the market seemingly is trying to push up over here, and then after that come down to here. So let's see whether what happened. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much for today. Listening to me. It's Kel signing off. Take care, and I wish you all the best in trading. For those going to see me on Zoom again, I'll see you guys in a short while time. Bye bye.